Good to go.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Whiteside, thank you for coming in again. I really appreciate it. Uh, this is Kevin Lemon, City Government Reporter with KDH. Can you tell me, first of all, what happened, that incident that happened Tuesday evening at the City Council, just outside of City Hall?
I came out of the door and I stopped to let you know that I would come back every 2 weeks or so and update you on what was going on with KHA. And while we were talking, one young man asked me about the homeless, and I answered his question to the best of my ability. Apparently this guy is a guy that had offered up 5 acres to the city or something like that, but I had nothing to do with that. But I did ask him what was he doing when he talked about what was going on with the homeless. And at that point, a young man from across the hall, across the patio, I didn't even know who he was at the time, started saying, "Ain't that right, Mr. Whiteside?" And I was like, "Pardon me, what's that?" And he said, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth." And then he started to get belligerent. So I went over and I put my bag down because I felt threatened. I did not want to be caught with one hand in the bag and somebody coming at me. I began to explain to him, "I don't even know who your wife is." At that point, he got up and jumped at me. Melissa Brown got in front of him and said, "I'm his wife." And I was surprised because I did not know that was his wife. But I did explain to him. I said, he said, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth." I said, "Well, as long as she keep my name out of hers, I'll keep her name out of mine." But this is the kicker to it is, if you're in politics and you are a public figure, somebody's going to say something about your name, and you and your family should know that. But then the guy kept trying to aggress me, and Melissa started telling him to go home. And at that point, you disappeared and came out with the police. When the police came out there, I stopped and talked to the police. James Brown, as I found out his name was, took off and ran. If you weren't the aggressor, why would you run at the time that the police come out there? Why wouldn't you stay and give your statement at that time? He still haven't gave a statement. His wife sent the email with a false email with a false statement stating that I almost ran through her to get to him. And I stood my ground. I stood my ground because the Lord is my witness. I will not be bullied on something that He sent me to do. Like I told you on my last meeting, I think that the Lord sent me places, put me in places so that He wants me to fix. He put me on KHA board. So I will not be bullied or intimidated by Mr. Brown, Melissa Brown, or anybody else to do my job. I really don't understand why people are getting so upset because I'm just there trying to find answers. But I've been there less than 45 days. And people act like I came and did something wrong when all I'm doing is trying to find answers to what's corrupt or what's going on.
Yeah, and you told me you filed charges this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, I did file charges against Mr. Brown for assault on a public figure, a appointed official. And they're supposed to give me the paperwork to sign whenever they added to my report that I went in. And I will tell you, I saw Melissa Brown's email. Well, it do mean I do have the time for it. I do have the time because I'm on the side of truth. I don't have a reason to sit here and lie on her husband because I didn't even know her husband until he came out and threatened to beat my 27 years off my ASS.
Right. You're mentioning something that Melissa Brown sent to you. What was that?
No, she didn't send it to me. That's the email that she sent you all.
Yes.
I read it in the newspaper yesterday, and I saw the false statements that she made.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I do have time for the truth. I do have time to press charges because it's wrong, because it was wrong. But I'm not going to be bullied by her or her husband.
And And you mentioned that there were some specific charges you were looking to file. Could you tell me what those were?
Well, I don't know if it's a charge in Texas, but in other states, if you are appointed as a commissioner, a public figure, or a public official, it is against the law to threaten a public official. It is almost a terrorist act.
Mm.
So the charges that I filed, and if I don't know if they'll change it, if the police will tell me that that's not the charge that needs to be filed, because I understand that they called it something else, but that's the charges I asked to be filed.
Mm. Is this a typical situation that people should find themselves in when attending a city council meeting?
No, it is not a typical situation. When a person goes to see the city council meeting, if you have a complaint, then you voice your complaint. You should not be able to sit outside of the building and harass the attendees nor the city staff when they come out.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. Before I move on, anything else that you want to say about that particular incident?
Not at all, Kevin. I did press charges, and I will see them through. And to be honest, if Mr. Brown did nothing wrong, then he wouldn't have ran, and his wife wouldn't be speaking for him via email. He would have came forward and did his interview. But Mr. Brown is nowhere to be found because Mr. Brown knew he was wrong.
Okay, so then I'm going to move on to some of the KHA stuff that's been happening. Mostly it appears to be, from my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, from my understanding there was supposed to be a meeting Friday. It was canceled. I do not know why the meeting was canceled. I didn't even know that it was until I got those emails. And so Melissa Brown sent some sort of email saying that one of the former commissioners was not properly removed, and therefore some people on the board, I guess, were never properly part of the commission. At least that's the claim, and her claims seem to stem from a open records request that she filed. First of all, maybe you could address that. Do you know what she's talking about in regards to that?
Kevin, all that happened before I got there. Something with the last residential person being removed. So I can't speak to that because, again, a lot of stuff that happened before we got there, we are only getting privy to as it gets towards the meeting. If we're getting ready to go on the meeting and they know they're going to discuss something, then they'll come by and let me and Mr. Hartfield know this is what's going on, and we shouldn't do ahead of time. But that incident there and whatever Melissa Brown is talking about, I have no understanding or knowledge of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because like, in like action in practice, the commissioners are still doing meeting and holding meetings and moving things along, but you've seen like the email chain, I would imagine. Like, what can you tell us about that?
I'm not even sure that I've seen exactly what you're talking about, but what I will tell you is, whatever happened within that case with her and the mayor or whoever removed this young lady from the board, I can't speak to it because I don't know the facts. If I knew the facts, I would be the one that's sitting here saying, well, this is either wrong or this is right, but I don't know the facts of that one. I just found out about it when you all, when they started talking about the emails.
Right, But the mayor was saying that she was hoping that that the Friday meeting did not get canceled because of whatever that.
No,
thing.
the Friday, we were hoping that the Friday meeting, the mayor was hoping, and I was hoping that the Friday meeting did not get canceled due to the fact that Friday was supposed to be our annual meeting. We set that meeting up 4 weeks ago in October.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a chair and a vice chair. If the system is designed so if one can't make it, the other one can, and we would still have a quorum. The mayor was hoping that meeting, in her email, what I took of it, in my opinion, was she was hoping that they wasn't holding off the meeting, trying to get another person on the board so that these two individuals that were sitting there in the chair and the vice chair without being elected would try to hold their seats. Now, I will tell you that those same two individuals have went to Mr. Hartfield to try to because I keep asking, what are we trying to cover up? And because I keep asking this, I am the bad guy. So they have tried to remove me to that way. Now they're trying to get one of Melissa's friends on the board so that they can have the votes to remove me. And I'm asking, what have I done so bad besides search for the truth?
What person are they trying to get on the board?
I don't know her name, but there's one application in. Now, the mayor tasked me and Mr. Hartsfield to go out to the housing area, and we've been going out to the housing area because her goal is to get as many applications in so she can select the most qualified person. So we've been going out to the housing area, passing out applications for the housing, for someone within the system. It could be either someone that lives in one of the housing projects or someone that receives a housing voucher. That's a part of the voucher program. And so we've been out giving out applications for people can put in so that she will have a choice. She would have some people to choose from in order to pick the person.
And just to be clear, that commissioner has to come from somebody who is receiving vouchers or
right, someone who is receiving a voucher, or someone who lives in one of the projects under the program.
Right. Okay. And that's the missing commissioner right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But we do have a quorum with 4 commissioners. I say it again. We set this meeting up in January. Prior to this meeting, they weren't even going to have an election. They were just going to say we're the chair and co-chair. When the way the system is set up, when they term out, the next four to 5 commissioners elect a chair and co-chair to act as a person to be the chair and co-chair for that year. But these 2 individuals just decided they were going to be. They did an election with the prior board, and then which should have made them acting until we did our first annual meeting. I asked about that in October because our first annual meeting should have been the first meeting in October. They said the first annual meeting is when the chair said the first annual meeting is. So between all of us, we got together and we said the 17th was going to be the first annual meeting.
Yeah.
Come the first annual meeting, the chair came up on Sunday, said she wasn't going to be there, and then on Monday, the vice chair or acting vice chair, Gabriel Ontavo, came up and said he wasn't going to be there. I asked about a postponement date, and the chair's answer was, I have some pressing matters over the next few weeks. So now we're putting the City of Killeen Housing Program on hold over the next 2 weeks while we have a chair and vice chair, just because we were supposed to do an election and somebody didn't want to get voted out of their seat.
What are the consequences of not holding a meeting on the 17th?
Well, we got some agreements that we were looking at, that we were talking about voting on. We had to talk more about the porting of our of individuals, get a update on the porting of individuals to CTOC. We also had a proposal on the table for Moss Rose Community Center, which we had to talk about as a board. So, and then we have to go through things that we should have went through at the beginning of the year. There's so many things that we have on our plate. There's no reason we should be canceling a meeting.
So, but from your understanding, the meeting was canceled because there was a lack of quorum.
To my understanding, the meeting was canceled because there was a lack of quorum. Now, I'm gonna tell you honestly, I've been in a lot of organizations and I've been around a lot of things when they do elections and everything like that. And I've saw this tactic before. But what I will tell you is that there is no reason you should have a chair and vice chair. And if we couldn't do the meeting on Friday, then we could have pushed the meeting off to Monday. Or we could have pushed the meeting off to Tuesday. But the reason the meeting originally was set on Friday, on Thursday rather, the reason the meeting was originally set, it was supposed to be today, the 16th, no, tomorrow, it's supposed to be tomorrow. The reason the meeting was originally set for tomorrow was because Thanksgiving was next week and we couldn't do it next Thursday. And everybody said that they'll be here on that day. Now we got pressing matters that's gonna go out through the week. If we have pressing matters that prevents us from doing our job as a commissioner, then we need to step down from being a commissioner and let the mayor appoint somebody that can do the job and have the time. Because right now, apparently, these people don't have the time. If we don't have the time to have a meeting, we don't have the time to do our job.
Right. And when the meeting was canceled, who did they let know that the meeting was canceled? How did they get the word out to the community that the meeting was canceled?
I really don't know. All I know is I got an email and I asked about the meeting, and when Ebony said she couldn't make it, when Miss Jackson said she couldn't make it, I asked about was the vice chair going to do it. Then I got another email said that the vice chair said he couldn't be there, which would eliminate us from having a quorum, so we could not do the meeting. But honest to God, I don't think that was the reason. I really don't. My heart and my gut is telling me that was not the reason. Again, if we don't have the time, if commissioners don't have the time to do the job that they have volunteered for, they need to move on and allow somebody else to do the job. Because right now we have a lot to do, and the more I ask questions, or the more me and Mr. Hartsfield ask questions, the more I become the bad guy.
This is a sort of like a temperature checking question, but I'm just wondering, because of all the stuff that's been happening with KHA, with like that incident outside City Hall, how are you managing I guess you're under a lot of stress and strain because of what is going on, is that correct?
I'm not under any stress. The Lord got me. He sent me there to do a reason. I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be bullied. I am going to do the job that I was asked to do by the Lord. Once he come to me and say, Bruce, it's time for you to move on, then I will move on. But I've been in stressful situations all my life. So, I mean, again, I spent 27 years in the military. This right here, this is no stress. It's never stress when you're trying to do the right thing.
That's fine then. Well, I mean, that's all the questions I have right now, but is there like maybe something that you want to tell me that maybe I didn't ask about?
No, that I'm just going to stay focused and try to find out what's going on so that we can fix it. I keep saying, if you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem, and I want to be a part of the solution.
All right, well, Mr. Whiteside, thank you very much.
You're welcome.